wood turning has kind of followed the lead of ceramics in terms of the development of design ideas. Came into being fundamentally through architecture and industry. In the 1930s with James Christini and then other turners since him here in this country, a shift towards design, beginning with a Bauhaus style of architecture and objects, and then migrating into what you see today through different makers. What I'm seeing today in turned objects is a combination of very highly finished glass-like surfaces that are an influence from blown glass, and some very organic style of surfaces, which is an influence that dates back to basically Werk Mesherick, if you wish.
This landscaping guy had to take it out from this down. It was huge and heavy, so I got 2 pieces out of it. What I like to do is when I do my selection of material, I like to look for wood that would have a variety of characteristics in it, you know, where I can orient the wood to show certain characters in the wood, and I try not to overdo it. When I say that, what I mean is I don't like to mess with Mother Nature. Not too sharp of an angle, and then you can get right down side and you do it a little. Where I grew up in the Caribbean, there was always something changing, and I grew up near the water, the beach, so there's always something changing in nature. So I guess a lot of that stuff stuck with me, and I tend to float. So when you see my pieces with the rings on the bottom, those are pieces I score up. My father, my great-grandfather, everybody was boat builders. So I grew up around wood all my life. But now I'm sort of like, I get paid for my wood turning.
The American Association of Wood Turners is an educational organization dedicated to teaching the art and skill of wood turning, and we are also promoting the craft of wood turning to the wider art world. Articles of Incorporation direct us to put on the symposium. This is our biggest event of the year.
You see, the AAW, it have 15,000 members. There's many members that beginner, but there's many members very good already, and then now they want to do wood turning professional for living. So we normally try to help them.
It's about 2 years or 18 months of work to plan this. You can see in our deal we have, I think, 14 rooms going of classes, and so we always have to have some beginning classes, basic stuff. We have another room set aside for just the professionals, and they talk about the things that are important to them, those issues which are important to the professional studio artists. So that balance is always in conflict for us. It's always which articles do we include?
And I was being pretty aggressive back then. Stump cutter in for the fun of it.
A lot of my job and function is dealing with the volunteers and the different programs that are involved in the symposium. There's so much you can do with turning, as you can see at the symposium here, all the different types of work and projects. We have so many members, and sometimes I feel you put out, all the members seem to have a passion, and at some point they want to share and give back. It's a very sharing community.
I want my work to last way past my lifetime. And in order to do that, you have to know something about the material that you're working with. For me personally, is try to explain to other wood turners the importance of making something that will last. you know, it isn't just a trinket that will be looked at and liked for a week and then put away, because that kind of detracts from my personal thought. I want to give you something that you will use. How you make these things in a more of a designed way.
I try to help students the best that I can with the area that they need help with, but I do hold creativity high. If you want to design a table, is to go look at tables, because you're going to feel constricted about, well, that's been done, that's been done, that's been done. And he suggested that maybe the best thing to do is to go to a junkyard. Maybe a tad more pointed, and if you need to, you put a hand on the top side. A lot of people are nervous about doing this, but it's just a great way. I have a son, he's now 26, but when he was young, he came out to my shop and asked me to turn him a bat. I was busy doing my serious work, and he had his little uniform on, and he had watched television, and he saw a baseball bat that was hollowed in the end, which isn't typical of wooden bats, and he wanted me to make him that. Any questions? If you see a bat that looks like it's been hit by a ball, that's meant to be humorous, and I had a lot of fun with that.
When my husband decided to do the teapots and started making lots of teapots, I wanted to decorate the pots. Each one is different. Each teapot has its own personality and its own decoration. The ribbon cut, I'm just going to make cuts. I learned the pyrography before Michael was doing the teapots, and I used to decorate plates. That's how I started, and then it's evolved over the years into these floral designs.
Collecting the wood turning is become very popular here. That's a big business here in the US. Some people collect it because they like it, they love it, but some people collect them because investment. They can donate it to the museum and they got tax write-off.
If the general public, if we go out on the street and we talk to somebody about wood, they don't know what we're talking about. Wood is for holding up buildings, you see, and bordering a window, and it has to be painted on your house. So part of what we're doing with the organization, the American Association of Woodturners, and my own work and many other workers, is we're helping to educate the general public by exposing our work to them. We present it to people. We try and explain its intrinsic value, which leads to its worth, the price. But what I'm most interested in other people's work is the intrinsic value behind it. What is the relationship of the object to the maker through the process?
In Israel we haven't enough forest, or we can say we have forest, but it's not trees that we can cut down and use with the wood. It's all import that I dry. Most of the time, we can say 99% with dry wood. But even they cut this down, it's not dead. You still can make some beautiful items and put in the shelves, and the wood still live.
Most of my work is narrative, telling the story, you know. So I'm using a lot of motif, whether Asian or Western motif. I will try to describe the story. When I was young, and then when the communists came to Vietnam and American withdraw out of Vietnam, and I tried to escape to get out of Vietnam. And so you can see maybe in my piece about ocean waters, and because I came about not here, but I get out in Vietnam by boat. If you have a farm, you grow a tree for harvest, for lumber, the tree will go straight up because there's no competition. I don't like those kind of wood. It's easy to predict. I like the wood that grow in the forest. That where they have to fight, you know, because so many trees around, and it gives the wood a lot more figure. It applies to human. But if somebody's struggling with all this illness or all these problems, and there's a lot of story to tell, right?
a gentleman went into a gallery and bought a piece of my work, and then he picked it up and he said, "It's wood." I thought it was ceramic. No, it's wood. And he didn't know who I was, and he rang me up and said, "I've just bought a piece of your work." And I said, "Well, great, thank you." He said, "No, you don't understand. I don't collect wood, I collect ceramics." But I walked into a gallery, saw your piece of work, paid for it, then was given it, and I went, "It's wood." So he said, "I congratulate you on changing my attitude to wood." They just see a beautiful shape, a beautiful form, a colourful piece, and they say, "I like that piece, I want to buy that piece." They don't necessarily have to be lovers of wood.
The biggest participation is the instant gallery, where anybody can come and put their work out on the table at the instant gallery. You will see people up in the instant gallery standing by their piece, like I will stand by my bowl, and people will say, "How did you make it? What is the wood? What's it finished with?" And so you get a lot of exchange of ideas up in the instant gallery, but the instant gallery is always the popular place within the symposium.
Is start the curve here with your eye, take it all the way around and right back up again, and see how it folds into the form. And then if you feel you need to have it,
I like to work with beginning students because they don't have too many bad habits, you know? And you can teach them the technical elements a little more easily. Oddly enough, like in ceramics or blown glass, you have to start with the feet. I introduce the term design to them. So what I do is I talk about going through the process, and I stress the process. And then when they get done with it, whatever they end up with, it is the design itself. And then I put objects that other people have made into their hands and show them these objects and give them a sense of appreciation through object combined with language, and let them begin to digest this.
The World War II generation that are 90 years old have worked with wood all of their life. And if you took wood away from them, they would drop dead. They need to touch it, they need to work it, because it's such a part of their life. You've seen here this weekend, we have people who are blind, who turn wood. We have, in my Portland, we have a man who is completely blind, who teaches wood turning and cabinet making.
One of the types of people that I like to have experience my work are blind people, because without the sense of sight, they have enhanced many, many other senses that those of us who are blessed with vision, we don't see that often. We don't feel, we don't experience mass and texture the way a blind person does.
I'm going to turn this on. It's on. See, I'm touching this with my hand.
Okay.
There's nothing there going to hurt you.
Okay.
Okay? I'm going to lower this tool rest down just a hair. Trust me. All right?
Okay.
And you're going to rub that against there and go back and forth. That's all you're going to do.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
Got to make noise.
All right.
But it's going to be like very little teeny shaving. No, don't lift.
Okay.
7 out of the 10 people I had with me yesterday, they're visually impaired but not totally blind. So they were able to really take in a lot of things. It was the first of its kind. None of them had ever turned a pen before, or even turned anyone. So I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but they just loved it.
Very good, very good. Oh, no, it's just a paper snapping. There's nothing here to hurt. I know.
I never thought I would be sitting here at this symposium with the best wood turners in the world, talking and giving a lecture and sharing my stories.
All right, we're in. Now keep coming. Keep coming. Just a hair more? Good.
There's no better feeling. I mean, I can barely write with my hand, and to know that somebody takes one of my pens and they write with it and they enjoy it. Don't give up and find somebody to work with you with patience. You know, because when you're disabled, it doesn't mean we don't get it done, it just take a little bit longer. You know, and maybe we have to go about it a different way.
Very welcome. Good work.
Bye, Joe.
I think you've got it. I think so. You ready?
We worked on a blind turner was directing us and helping us develop tools and adaptations for turning for blind people and low vision. And our goal wasn't to tell people how to teach turning, but how with these attitudes or adaptations you would be confident enough to teach someone that is blind.
No, I got you at 250. I got you at 250 now, 275.
Yes!
I got 75 and 200, 2 a bit now, quarter, 2 a quarter, 2 a quarter, yes, 2 a quarter.
Our organization provides a lot of grants to schools to buy wood turning equipment, lathes, tools, and other equipment. The money we receive from that auction will be given out in January, February of next year in grants back to our members and our chapters and to schools for educational purposes. So all of that's the money we raise in that area goes back to the members. If we don't pass it on, then it'll die out. I mean, we have to pass it on to the younger generation. It's important for us.
We want to stop?
I know it's round, but I have a...
I know, but we're going to start on this end. And you're going to come in like this and flatten it here and then start coming around the corner, okay?
Where I live, the county does not have an industrial arts program, and I bring a mini lathe and I show the kids how to turn wood. And most of them have never seen a wood lathe. None of them have ever seen anything made. So it's like, wow, this is really cool. Because you saw the honey dipper. I mean, it takes about 5 or 6 minutes to make. I make little baseball bats for them, spinning tops and things like that.
When you get ready to move the arrest, turn the blade off.
I like working with the kids because, first of all, the kids don't have any preconceived concepts. And, you know, they listen and they do what they're asked to do. Where adults tend to go off on their own tangents, don't follow directions because they think they know better than you do, and that makes it difficult to do. The kids are eager to learn. They're all here because they want to be here, and they get real excited. And you know, to see their face when they make something for the first time makes it all worthwhile.
You doing okay? Having fun yet?
When we share it, this one person can take it. Oh, I can do something else with that. So they become something else. You don't teach somebody, they will die. I believe that's how we grow very fast.
I like to come here because it's fun and it's actually my first time, and but I liked it because we learned a lot about wood turning. I want to learn how to do more complicated stuff. Like I know how to use the tools and stuff now, and I know how to do some designs, but I like to learn some more difficult things.
I like doing the wood turning and then like just to see it start off as a square block and then end up as something you've made. It's pretty cool.
So you probably will come next year?
Oh yeah, we're coming next year.
A couple of years ago, the little girl was only 8 years old, but both of her parents turned. She's been around the lathe all her life, and she wanted to be a part of the program. And I said, you know, I didn't mind if they were willing, and Bonnie Klein said it was fine with her. When we got to the symposium, the lady came up and thanked me, and she said, "You don't remember me?" I said, "No, I'm afraid I don't." She said, 9 years ago, you came to our club and did an all-day demo, and one of the projects I do is a baby rattle. And when I finished the baby rattle, she was sitting in the front row, and she was pregnant with this little girl. So, I mean, that just sort of brings chills to you, and I mean, it's a full circle. And if you look around at the symposium, the average age is probably 65 to 70. So having the kids come in, because there's no industrial arts anymore, because of liability and funding and all that, I mean, it's the only opportunity the kids have to do something like this. The wood turning has become a natural thing for me, and that's why I like to do it.